relationship and media expert. Her most recent publication, I got the book, is entitled Relationship Rules, 12 Strategies for Creating a Love That Will Last. Also on the phone with us in Phoenix, where it's raining tonight, doctor, and she's a PhD or an ED, Mary. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How does this work? You too. Here it is, Relationship Rules, 12 Strategies for Creating a Love That Lasts. What's the number one rule?
Number one rule? Well, there were actually about 50 rules, and I narrowed them down to 12. So all of them are pretty important, but one of my favorites is take responsibility for your own happiness. And I think this is one of the things that happens in relationships is we look to our partner to make us happy. Maybe our partner even says, I'm here for you. You don't have to worry about a thing. I'll take care of everything. And we relax into that comfort of thinking that they'll take care of everything. But we also tend to think that they'll be there to make us happy all the time. And when we're not happy, we start to think, well, I was happy before you arrived on the scene. Now I'm not happy, so it must be your fault.
Of course.
Instead of looking at what our part was in whatever happened that made us unhappy.
What's the statistics on marriage? Is it you hear 1 in 2 fail? Is that
Right.
about right?
It's still about 50% for first marriages and 70% for second marriages.
Woo! Those aren't good odds.
Those are not good odds.
So 1 in 2 people who are, like you just got married, is this the first time or second time?
This is second.
So she has a 70% chance of failure?
I would think it would get
Statistically,
better.
she has a 70% chance of failure. I tend to think people in Colorado are a little bit more enlightened and more aware and more focused on relationships.
Around the table, what's number one cause of divorce to the best of your knowledge? No. So this is first flight.
Right.
You're a 2 to 1.
That's not good odds.
No, it's not good odds. Well, why do people get divorced?
Well, all of my work is built around how the media in myths and stereotypes create a lot of unrealistic expectations that make
Everybody
us
just nodded
unhappy.
at this table when you
so
said
I'd
that.
have to say what everybody said is correct, but those are among my 12 myths and stereotypes. I definitely agree with Janice. One of my prescriptions, one of my Dr. Galician's prescriptions is cultivate your own completeness. But I'd have to say that we have quite a variety of major mass media myths and stereotypes
it's
all
interesting.
grown up with.
Yeah.
And most of us have extremely unrealistic expectations about communication, about sex, about sharing of responsibility,
All right, what about sex?
about all kind of things.
All right, what's the expectation about sex that isn't real?
Well,
all right. What's the number one reason? And by the way, you nodded your head when the
They did a
doctor
study at the
mentioned.
University of Colorado, and that was what they came up with. The number one reason was unrealistic expectations.
For instance, I thought this was going to be fun.
I think we look to our partner to fill all our needs. Before women entered the workplace, women got their emotional needs met with other women because we didn't work outside the home, and now we work. Men work. We don't have the time to spend with our circle of friends, and so we look to men for that emotional support. And men are like, emotional what? And so they've been given a job description that they may not even be comfortable with, and yet this is what we're expecting from men today.
All right, real quick, we got jammed up lines. What's different about dating now than, say, a decade ago or 2 decades ago?
Women are a lot more aggressive.
Oh, wow.
Women have become more like men than ever before. We've learned very well from men.
Guys taught you well. So when you say aggressive, like a woman will ask a guy out.
Oh, she'll call a guy, she'll ask a guy out, she'll initiate sex, you name it.
Dr. Fun, what's changed in 10 to 20 years? All right, what would you like to ask? What would you like to ask anybody here?
I would like to ask Ms. Hoffman. Number one, I didn't get the title of her book. I'd like to go and buy it.
There it is.
Okay. Really? Okay. What is it?
It's entitled Relationship Rules.
Okay.
And it's $17. It's in paper, and I'm sure it's around town.
Tattered Cover, Amazon.
Tattered Cover has it. Amazon has it.
Okay. Fantastic. And the question I would like to ask Ms. Hoffman is, what does she see in women that we can, is there something we need to change? Do we need to redirect our thinking when it comes to dating or look at our expectations? One of the things I was always criticized about is that I had high demands, and I thought, well, because that's
because
the
of full
type of
lines?
person I am, and I don't want to lower my standards.
Okay, full line, stop there. Yes, ma'am.
One of the things I think we need to realize is that we're asking men to do something that they've never had to do before, and that is to give us emotional support. And what that looks like is listening to us talk about what's bothering us without giving us advice. One of the complaints I hear from women a lot is, I tell him what's bothering me and I really just need to talk, but he tries to fix me. So one of the things you can do is you can say to your partner, I really need about 10 minutes just to tell you what's bothering me, and you don't need to do anything, you don't need to fix me, I just need you to listen. Would this be a good time? And when you ask your partner, especially laying it out like that for a man, he knows what his job description is then. Because men typically will go right into fix-it mode. That's their nature, just like women's nature is to be nurturing and caretaking. And when they know what their job description is to just listen, then they can give you what you need.
Hey, Dee Dee, thank you, man. Good first call. Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's go here. This is Jane. Hey, Jane, good evening. What do you say to her? It's a great chance.
I think at 55, men and women are looking for different things. You know, when we're younger, I think men are more looking for the really good-looking women, and women have their list of what they want in a husband. And when you hit the 50s, it seems to change. People are more interested in a companion, someone they have common interests with, someone they can get along with. The sex isn't quite as important. So you try the internet, you could try speed dating, go to events that interest you.
Have you made matches for people like this?
Oh, absolutely. I've got clients ranging all the way up to 79 years old. I think it's really important to put yourself out there.
I've noticed that the over 50 crowd aren't so much interested in remarrying. They're more interested, like I was saying, in a companion. And sometimes by the time somebody, especially when you've been married for 20 years and you're single and you're on your own now and you think about your age and all the things that you haven't done because you were raising a family. And sometimes, especially for a man, he might think that if he gets in a relationship, he won't be able to do the things that he's always wanted to do. So maybe it's better to just date and be able to accomplish those things he wants to accomplish and not get married.
And I also think that the reasons for getting married change.
That's not fair, because men say whatever makes you happy, and then when you tell them what makes you happy, sometimes they're like, well, but
doesn't make
I
me
didn't
happy.
mean, and you know, that's the thing with dating. People put on their profiles, I want someone who's good looking, someone who likes outdoors, someone who has a good sense of humor. Well, who doesn't want someone who's intelligent? No, I want someone who never wants to go outside,
Wait a minute,
but ugly,
wait a
and
minute.
can't write or read. I mean, everybody has the same profile. So yeah.
Well, excuse me. You're making
If I could
assumptions.
jump in, I think what might be interesting to hear is
And if your list is so strict that a woman can't even fit into the crack that you've made for her to fit into,
Sick of Janice.
you set your standards pretty high, and you set it yourself that.
If I'm gonna hook you up with the cougar lady. Good night, man. All right, we got to do this show again. All right, this is Linda. Linda, you're on the show. Good evening.
Good evening, and St. Valentine's Day.
Very good. All right, Janice, you're first.
I think if you have children, especially if they're children at home, it's important to date somebody who has children, because if you date someone who's never had children before, when you have changes in the schedule and when you have to have your kids when it's not your night to have them and it's their night to be with their ex, you need to have somebody who's going to be understanding of those changes in the schedule and when you have to cancel at the last minute.
And I appreciate that, but also I appreciate that I have older, intelligent children. I recognize they do not have father participation in their life. I'm essentially the only parent.
Sure.
And so what my question is, what suggestions or strategies can you provide your insight and expertise to help me with this?
Let's go to the doctor. Let's go to the doctor in Arizona. Doc?
okay. Well, my work again, and my books, and my
in your life. A lot of kids feel threatened, and teenagers in the high school years.
Yeah, it's the toughest time.
I've raised 3 teenagers.
I have quite a few clients with,
Yes. Thoughts. You're terrific.
Oh, thank you. Well, callers and viewers can go to my website. It's the same as my book, relationshiprules.com, and you can sign up for my weekly relationship tip and learn all about relationships on a weekly basis. And
You turned some heads tonight. That was good stuff. Here is that book, and you can find it for everybody. And Ms. Valentine, I didn't know where the show was going to go, and actually we should do a follow-up on this. You guys were all terrific. Thank you so much. Everybody.